All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again with another live stream, bringing you the latest in Chelsea transfer news. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you guys are. For me, the weekend begins, and it's a wonderful feeling when the weekend starts. It truly is a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and it's even better when I get to join up with you guys, rejoin, and have a discussion with you guys, talk to you guys, interact with you guys. It honestly brings great pleasure. Honestly, it truly does bring great pleasure, and so much to talk about. So much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Since we last came live together, all of us, we were wondering when the news was going to drop. And yeah, the news finally was there. The news finally came about midway, well, sort of evening UK time. And that's finally over. We have parted ways with Mason Mount. And I guess now we can talk about this particular situation, this particular saga, with a tad bit of calmness, I suppose, with a tad bit of calmness. And we're going to explore both sides of the coin here. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people are saying, you know, Mason always wanted to be at Chelsea, this, that, the other, and it was never about the money. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is, you know, he wanted to stay as long as it was in his own terms. And I guess he's a victim of the circumstance, you know. It's just unlucky that his contract situation well, I don't even know if that's even a word, it came closer to finishing. And had he had already done a contract extension previously, he wouldn't have been in this particular scenario. And a victim of the circumstance where new owners came in and the new board was set up and it just didn't go his way. So we're going to talk about that. Hakim Ziyech news, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite baffled by this. I'm quite surprised. I'm quite shocked at this situation. This brother simply cannot get a break, man. I mean, I hope he doesn't break anything. Yeah, there seems to be apparently some red alerts on his knees and his hips. I didn't even know this guy had such issues. So we'll talk about that, of course. And Gabri Veiga, I think that's the player we're going to be going for now. So we'll obviously talk about that. With Mason Mount gone, looks like we may be triggering that release clause that Gabri Veiga has, much like the one that Nicholas Jackson had. You know, a similar sort of release clause of about 30 odd. I think with Gabri Veiga, it's a little bit more than that. It's about 34 million euros, I believe. So I think it's euros, or is that pounds? Something like that. We'll definitely touch on that. Kudos to each and every one of you guys. Big up to each and every one of you guys. Nearly 200 of you guys are live already. Smash the like button. Get those likes up to 200 immediately. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. I want to try and pick up as many comments from you guys throughout this particular live stream and try and make it as interactive as possible. Unlisted Red, another medical for Ziyech today, Miz. Yeah, look, let's hope this happens. Look, I'm not even going to lie. I know some of you guys might have already picked up. Deep down, do you know what? Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Ziyech one more time at Chelsea Football Club. But that's me just being biased. That's me loving Hakim Ziyech a lot. But I completely understand. He needs to leave. He wanted to leave for PSG last transfer window in January, and it didn't work out. And now he's, willing to go to Saudi Pro League. And once again, there seems to be some issues here. So let's hope that his next medical does work out very, very soon. Okay, I'm going to be sipping on some tea throughout because, my throat feels a bit funny, man. Bit of dryness. Bit of flu going around in Sydney, Australia. So I might have copped that a few days ago. So do apologize if I am every now and then pausing and muting myself to just clear out my throat. Miss, happy we stuck with Ziyech. There is a lot of Ziyech fans in this live chat. Secret Ziyech fans. Me, I'm not. I don't have no secret. Do you know what I mean? And me say too much go biryani. Yeah, no, true. T1, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Miz, would you rather buy the best players in the world and win 3 straight titles, or win 1 title with academy players? Oh man, look, titles are the game, name of the game. I'd rather win 3 titles straight. So I understand what you're saying. Winning a title with the academy boys, yeah, that would be such a sensational like a, what do you call it, romanticizing situation, right? But 3 straight titles, of course, the name of the game is to win titles. Now, instead of looking at this as an option, I rather us try and have a balance of academy players and world class players, and then still try and go for 3 straight titles, as opposed to giving me an option. Should I go with like, we have to understand, not every academy player is going to make it, ladies and gentlemen. We have to understand this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of us, we get a bit annoyed when we see our academy boys leave for other clubs. Obviously now with the Mason Mount situation, people are getting a bit irate. Oh, what does it mean for the academy players? How are they going to react? What will they think? But the best of the best will make it. The best of the best will make it. Reece James made it. Do you know what I mean? John Terry made it. Like, the best of the best will make it. So far, after Reece James, I think probably Levi Colwell gives me that vibe. I'm not going to lie. And we're going to touch up on the Mason Mount situation right now. Let me just bring this news up. Some truth has been revealed in regards to Mason Mount, ladies and gentlemen. It's also true to say Mason Mount was not in a fight with Chelsea. He was disappointed because he wanted to stay there. He's Chelsea boy. He was not happy with how things were in September, October, and November. Everything was broken in February. So this is in regards to Mason Mount. He never wanted to leave. And I believe that. He probably never did want to leave. Do you know what I mean? He probably always wanted to stick around. But look, here's the thing. As I said, for me, Mason Mount, he's not of the same caliber as Reece James. I don't care how many stats you throw at me. I don't care all the stuff that Mr. Minerals FC said it in his live stream yesterday. That was a mad live stream. If you guys haven't checked that out, that was absolute classic clownery of a live stream. I mean, so many people were there. I think majority of people were there just to laugh at him, as opposed to agreeing with him. There was obviously a handful that will always agree with him, but I think majority, there was quite a large number. Like, it was more than 1,000 people live watching, and predominantly everyone was just having a laugh at what he had to say. But look, there is a percentage of people that tend to believe, Mason Mount was the next big thing from the academy. But for me, honestly speaking, he's a good player. He's an above average player. He is an above average player, but he's not that Reece James, that caliber, that world class. Like, Reece James for me is world class. Yes, he's injury prone. Yes, he's injury prone, and I understand that. But just for a second, take away the injury side of things and just assess player by player. I know they play different positions. Reece James just has that aura about him. The way he defends, the way he attacks, the way he's got that technical ability, his creativity, his creative sense. Like, Reece James is just his footballing IQ. Like, he's a different level. And the next player out of the academy lot that we've got at the moment, I feel, is Levi Colwell. I've seen Levi Colwell at Brighton, and my days, he looks the part. He looks the part. So, as I said, not everyone's going to make it, ladies and gentlemen. And there's no problems with that. We cannot expect every single academy player to make it for us. Do you guys remember when there was so much hype about Lewis Bate? Then he ended up going to Leeds. And now I don't even know where Lewis Bate is. I think he's still at Leeds, in probably Leeds Academy now. Leeds are relegated. And there's been many other, players. One that probably I feel like we may get hurt is Billy Gilmore. I think Billy Gilmore next season, if Roberto De Zerbi continues to play Billy Gilmore at Brighton, I think Billy Gilmore could explode. So that's one that maybe could, got away from us. Players like Tomori, players like Margihi. I mean, yeah, they're quality players, but I think we can move on, and we have moved on. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat. We fleeced Arsenal and Man United, moved on our deadwood, and balanced the books by deadline. Great birthday present for me. No, fantastic. Happy birthday, President Jafar. Everyone give President Jafar a massive happy birthday. Give the birthday cake emojis if you can. Arsenal Fever, thank you so much for the super chat. For F's sake, let's move on, people. He's gone now. Yeah. Well, first of all, Arsenal people, what are you doing here? This is a Chelsea live stream. Okay. But thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. We have moved on. We're just talking about the residual value, I suppose. The residual value. So yeah, coming back to the Mason Mount situation, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I think he did wanted to stick around at Chelsea. I really do think he wanted to stick around at Chelsea, but in his own terms, and that's absolutely fine. All the things that people say that it's not about the money, this, that, the other. Look, there has to be an element about the money. If it's not about the money, I don't understand why he would hesitate taking that 1-year contract extension in February. Prior to that, there was some verbal commitment, apparently verbal agreement between Mount and the new owners, which after the World Cup, when the new board was set up, they reneged upon. But then they gave them a year contract extension. See, if I'm proper Chelsea, if I truly love Chelsea and I want to be here at Chelsea and it's not about the money, then I stay. I take that contract extension for a year. Apparently that was for 200k per week. I stay there, and then I work my backside off. I absolutely work my backside off, and I believe in my skill set, and I believe that I can deliver for the new coach, and the new coach apparently wants me to stay. So there is that belief that the new coach would use me on a predominant basis, and I do my level best to help out the team as much as I can and try and improve as much as I can. And then if a new contract from Chelsea doesn't materialize, no problems. I then go somewhere else. Because if Mason Mount truly thinks that he's got the quality, then he should always have the belief that I'll get a football club. I'll get a quality football club. But he didn't want to agree on that 1-year contract extension. And that's fine. I'm not having a go at any party here. I'm not having a go at Mount. I'm not having a go at Chelsea. I think with Chelsea, what happened was they got into a situation where they felt that Mason Mount is probably not as great as what Mason Mount thought he was. I think this is what happened. Yeah, I only just recently saw Todd Bowley. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Todd Bowley apparently on Twitter liked a particular tweet from Alexis Kafkas. If you guys know who Alexis Kafkas is, Kafkas View, go out there and subscribe to his channel. Very, very good content creator. Alexis Kafkas shared a particular tweet where, if you guys remember excuse me, if you guys remember where there's that particular video of Thierry Henry and how he's screaming at particular player, Mason, 1, 2, boom, like one-touch passes. Alexis Kafkas shared that video and he put a caption saying, that's Mudryk to Mason. Todd Bowley apparently went and liked it. Like, people got the screenshot of this. So I'm completely in the understanding that I think Chelsea owners, the board, probably just didn't rate Mason Mount as much as Mason Mount probably hoped or expected himself to be rated. And this is why he didn't get that level of contract. Because if you guys remember, simultaneously at that time, Reece James got a lucrative contract because our board rates Reece James. Our board rates Reece James. there wasn't any issue for Reece James. He signed a long-term contract. What was it? 7 years, 8 years, something like that. And he got a hell of a lot of money, 250K per week. Our board knowing that he's injury prone, they still gave him a long-term contract. This is what it comes down to. They didn't rate him enough. But if Mason Mount was proper Chelsea, as they say he is, then he takes that 1-year contract extension, works hard, and then sees what happens. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted assurance for his life, and that's absolutely fine. And the contract with Man United is 250K plus another additional 50K if he hits the bonuses, potentially taking him up to 300K a week. And a lot of people were talking about how Mason Mount didn't want a long-term contract. The contract in Man United is 5+1. That's 6 years nearly. So 5 years definitely, and then there's a trigger for one more. So let's say 6 altogether. And apparently the one of the reasons why Mount didn't want to stick around at Chelsea football, didn't want to agree on Chelsea's contract extension, was because apparently the Chelsea's one was too long. It was apparently 7 years. So now all of a sudden with one less year, it all makes sense now. It's all substantial and considerable for you. Come on, man. Come on. Definitely it had to do with some money factor as well. Because 250K, 300K is of course a fantastic amount of money. Royston, Winstonley doesn't rate Mount. It's that simple. That's why we're going after Veiga. Yeah, and then that's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. I think our board summed it up real quick that we are in a situation. We're in a situation where if Mason Mount had a couple of more years left in his contract, then maybe they would have just waited around. But we were in a predicament where we had to sell to balance books, and there's good value to be found with Mason Mount because we may not rate him that much, but there are other clubs who rate him in the likes of Man United. So that's what it came down to with the board. The board just saw that we can get good quality money from Mason Mount by selling him, and we can potentially replace him with a cheaper option with Gabri Veiga. And this is why Gabri Veiga's name comes about. So we'll talk about that very, very soon. Top Dog RLG, thank you so much for the super chat. I get people feeling sentimental about Mount, but let's be honest, he was poor for quite some time, and I couldn't see where he'd fit in next season. Chukwuemeka, in my opinion, will be a better player. I hope so, man. I've got very, very high hopes about Chukwuemeka, man. I really, really like his quality. Let's be totally honest here. Mount was only sold because of these stupid owners messing up simple facts. But Shano, you make it sound like it's a bad thing. And let's talk a little bit about this. Look, if Mason Mount stayed, no problems. I had no issues with that. I think he probably would have done well under Pochettino. But the fact that we've been able to get rid of him with 1 year left in his contract, and we got 55 plus 5, so 60 million hopefully. So let's say 55 million guaranteed. This is not a bad deal for us. And we're not losing someone unbelievable. This is what we need to realize, ladies and gentlemen. We're not losing a particular... Do you know what? If this wasn't Mason Mount and this was, let's say, Reece James, I could understand the backlash. I could understand that, oh my God, how are we letting go of Reece James? Like a unbelievable world-class level player. How are we letting him go? I could understand. But with Mason Mount, I'm not too perturbed about it. I really am not. I feel like there are plenty of Mason Mounts out there in the world. Plenty. But you will not find too many Reece Jameses in the world. I'm telling you right now, you will not find too many Reece James. Much like the whole Declan Rice and Enzo Fernandez debate that happens in social media. A lot of people are like, oh, what's a better purchase? Declan Rice at 105 million or Enzo Fernandez at 110, whatever million that we paid? I'll tell you straight up, as much as I like Declan Rice now, There are plenty of Declan Rice out there in the world. You will find another Declan Rice. If you search hard enough, I don't even think you need to search hard enough. There are plenty of Declan Rices around. Because of the English hype, because of the English Premier League and the English media, they make it seem like Declan Rice, there is no other player like Declan Rice. But believe me, there is plenty if you look around. But Enzo Fernandez, I'm telling you, that quality don't come around every day of the week. That level of quality don't come around every day of the week. Yeah, players like Cesc Fabregas, they don't come around every day of the week. So similarly with Mason Mount, he's not irreplaceable. He simply isn't irreplaceable. So going back to this point from Shano, look, I don't really think the owners messed up here with Mason Mount. If anything, I think they were going to get messed up. Before the World Cup, the owners had potentially agreed upon a verbal agreement with Mason, which was a lot more pay, maybe a tad less than 200K, I think. I think finally they came to a negotiation of the terms as well. And I remember Mason Mount, just before the World Cup started, he said, after the World Cup, you're going to see the real Chelsea. He was buzzing. He really was buzzing. After the World Cup, when our owners set up the board and put Paul Winstanley in charge, that's when it all started collapsing for Mason Mount. So if anything, I think the owners were going to make a big mistake by putting Mason Mount on a sizable amount of wage, on a longer, obviously. Shanu, I mean, messed up with FFP, Ms. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. They messed up with FFP. They went and spent a lot of money. I understand that. But they're trying to rectify that. Of course, we all have major reservations with the owners. We do. All of us have major reservations regarding our owners for what they did last season. But this is what I have to say. Since they've put the board in play, Paul Winstanley, Christopher Vivell, Lawrence Stewart, and all of the other brothers that are now involved, especially this transfer window, the outgoings that we've made, I think our owners are slowly starting to learn, I think so. I'm hoping so. Yeah, they're trying to, even with the selection of the manager, they took their time, their sweet, long time to come to a conclusion with Pochettino. And I think they're trying to listen to the owners a lot, to the manager a lot more as well, and having their input. So let's see how much they learn. They're going to have to learn a lot off the back of the mistakes that they made last season. They definitely have to learn a lot. But this particular window, I can't fault them so far. Everything has been spot on. The way we've been negotiating, like the way Todd Bowley and the connection with Saudis, and to be able to shift so many of our players to that league. The way Iqbali with the Mount situation, trying to meet face to face. I'm pretty certain we're gonna hopefully wrap up the Caicedo transfer saga as well, and we're probably gonna come up on top. I'm hoping that we don't have to pay something around 100 million. I feel like right now the owners are slowly coming around, but of course we will stay patient. We'll see what happens down the track. But with the Mason Mount thing, I think, look, both sides are right on their own ways. No one is here to be blamed. I think the biggest factor for Mason Mount is he was a victim of the circumstance. If the board wasn't set up and the owners had their way, he would have signed up a new contract. But the board came in and they assessed the situation immediately, and they saw that they can perhaps get a cheaper replacement for Mason Mount. And someone maybe who's better. I don't know. Look, we're going to talk about Gabri Veiga now. Let's talk a little bit about Gabri Veiga. We'll get to the Ziyech story very, very soon. Top Dog RLG, thank you so much for the super chat. What is Mount's best position? 10. We have a much better player in Nkunku. 8. There's even evidence Poch will play 4-3-3. There's no evidence that Poch will play 4-3-3. Wide right in half space, a la Eriksen at Spurs, not creative enough. This pretty much sums it up. This is why I've always said that Mason Mount has a lot of work still to do. A lot of work still to do. And, if people think that he's going to go to Man United and he's just going to absolutely blow up, let's see, man. Let's see what happens. I doubt it. He's got a lot of hard work in front of him. He's not the complete product as yet. Far from it. Far, far from it. Ravi Kumar, thank you so much for the super chat. Owners are to be blamed here. We have to come to a level where we need to sell players for books. Imagine a situation again, we had to sell James for books. Look, I don't think our owners... Well, at the moment, I don't think the owners are the ones that are making all of these footballing decisions at the moment. It's the board, right? I don't think down the track, the board will ever get into a situation where they'll have to sell a superstar, much like Reece James. I want to give our board some level of credibility. I don't want to give them, because you look at all the players that are left this season, right? In this window. Tell me which outgoing was incorrect, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if any outgoing, in your personal opinion, was incorrect. Tell me which one was it. I can't see any of the outgoings that were incorrect. I actually didn't even think we were going to be able to get rid of Havertz. I felt that who's going to be a suitor out there for Havertz? He's not been good for us. Who's going to buy them? But our board has been able to offload Havertz for a smart amount of money to Arsenal Football Club. So I want to give our board some sort of credibility that they will not make this level. They will not get into a situation where they have to get rid of someone like Reece James to balance the books. I think from here on in, we are going to be very, very smart the way we operate. We have to be. We have to be very smart. Not just having a competitive advantage on field, but a competitive advantage off the field as well on how we run our football club. You look at the signing of Nicholas Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. When was the last time we made signings like that? Generally we'd go out there and buy players like Romelu Lukaku, which of course us fans would get excited about, no doubts. But Nicholas Jackson, good start. Hopefully it's a good start. Look at what we're trying to do with I watched Miz talking with Tony Mount. Now you're saying Mount is trash. I never said Mount is trash, mate. What I'm saying is Mount is not as good as what you think, Rashid 10. He's got a lot of hard work to do. That's up to you if you want to interpret that as trash. That's up to you. Someone saying Ornstein tweet. Let's have a look at that. What did Ornstein... Liverpool are pushing ahead with a deal to sign Dominic Szoboszlai. Looked difficult, but dynamics have shifted. Newcastle United out now appears. Liverpool confident it can get done amid talks with Red Bull Leipzig over Fabio Carvalho. Yeah, look, Dominic Szoboszlai, that's a good purchase for them. That's a very, very good purchase for them. But yeah, coming back to our scenario, yeah, like I want to give our board an opportunity. I want to give our board an opportunity, and I feel confident that we're not gonna be in this mess of balancing out the books again. I think there's always going to be an element of letting players go in order to buy new players. Of course, there's always going to be an element of that. Next summer, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, next summer there'll be more speculations as to who needs to leave. There'll be players that that we will need to figure out if they're good enough to be in Chelsea or not. and we'll have to think about them. So every season there'll have to be some level of you know, refreshments. Who comes in, who goes. But yeah, of course, that hopefully we don't get done with FFP. Fallon, thank you so much for the super chat. It was hilarious to see Nini so upset. He issued threats to Winston Lee and co just because of Mount. Man is demanding for Kudus as Mount's replacement. I like Kudus. Kudus is a good player. But people just getting so vexed about the whole Mount situation. It's quite mad. It really is quite mad. All right, let's talk about Gabri Veiga, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea are expected to move for Celta Vigo midfielder Gabri Veiga, and he has been sounded out for over a move. Look, I think Gabri Veiga is the one that we're going to go for. I know a lot of you guys are probably getting upset now because of Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is a very, very good player. And, you know, you'd think with our Red Bull sort of connections with Christopher Favel, maybe we could have had an opportunity there. But that's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Szoboszlai, you know, you never know how it's going to turn out. Similarly with Gabri Veiga, you never know how it's going to turn out. So just because he's done well in Bundesliga, we've seen Bundesliga. We've seen players from Bundesliga. It's not a sure thing. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Gabri Veiga, for me, look, I'm not going to be dishonest with you guys. I'm not entirely excited about Gabri Veiga, but he gives me that Mason Mount sort of caliber type of player. But the only difference is I think he's a better dribbler, and he's younger, of course, and he works hard. He works hard. He tries to win the ball back in midfield. He's tenacious. He's got good passing ranges. As I said recently, I've been watching a lot of Gabri Veiga. He's an okay player. He's an okay player for the level of money that is being touted for him. I think it's about 34 million pounds, something like that. Release clause. Gabri Veiga. Look. You'd think someone would have his release clause. There we go. 34.2 million. 34.2 million. So, you know, I think why not? Why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what you guys are saying about Gabri Veiga. I think Gabri Veiga will be a Chelsea player. I really do think Gabri Veiga will be a Chelsea player. Means look at Veiga highlights versus Barca. Yeah, I'll check that out. Obviously can't share that. I'll get in trouble with copyright. I was going to say I'll get in trouble with FFP. Make Chelsea technical and gangster again. Yeah, Gabri Veiga definitely has a lot of technical ability. Miss, what do you mean by Mount caliber level? Okay, so what I mean by Mount caliber is similar in style, press, energy. Similar in terms of passing. Is not elite level of passing that I've seen so far from Gabri Veiga, much like Mason Mount. You know, not elite level of passing as yet. Hopefully Gabri Veiga can improve on that. Yeah, the final third decision making is probably same level as Mason Mount. As I said, the biggest difference maker for me is his dribbling sense. That's where the difference is. But in terms of pressing, in terms of energy, in terms of winning the ball in midfield, yeah, much like that Mason Mount sort of feeling that I get out of Gabri Veiga. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this. Please check out Chelsea Dodgers tweet about Caicedo. We'll check that out, no problems. Exactly, I'm tired of seeing teeny boppers and children to wait for 5 years to fill the feeder clubs. Ms. Veiga is the next big thing, no problems. I hope he is. I truly hope he is. Point 44, Ms. If he's not an upgrade on Mount, why are we so dumb going to spend 35 million? Okay, so all right, point 44. I need to reason with you, brother. I need to reason with you. I truly need to reason with you because you said that I'm turning out to be a Yarda. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yada. You said I was turning out to be in Yada in one of the comments. and you don't like the way we've been moving recently, right? And I don't know, some of you fans may not like the way Chelsea are moving. Why aren't Chelsea going out there buying a top caliber striker, much like Osimhen? Why aren't Chelsea going out there buying a top caliber midfielder, this, that, the other? Listen, guys, we've gone down the route. We've gone down the route of proven superstars. And for some reason, it's not worked out for us in recent times. Okay? It's time to look for a mix. You look at our team. We've got some sensational players. I don't need sensational players every single position in order for it to operate. We need to start thinking in a different manner, right? Teams like Man United and even Arsenal now, Liverpool, they are a step above. And the only way, if you think we're going to catch up to them, is by just buying superstars. That's not going to work anymore. One, we're not in Europe. Two, we are trying to be smarter with our wages. And now some of you guys might say, oh, this sounds like a small mentality club. No, it's not. It sounds like a club that is willing to start operating in a sensible manner. As I said, our team is not rubbish. We've got Enzo Fernandez. Would you not say he's world class? You would say he's world class. He's World Cup champion. Christopher Nkunku coming in. Would you not say he's top level? I don't know about calling him world class as yet, but would you not say he's sensational player? Raheem Sterling, would you not rate him? I rate Raheem Sterling. I still do rate him. There was a lot of hype about Mudryk. Right? And there's many other players that we already have within the team. Levi Colwell. Do you know what I mean? We still have Thiago Silva, who's sensational in defense. Yes, getting old, but still very, very good. So you have a core of these players, and then you mix in now your Nicholas Jacksons, your Gabri Veigas, your Caicedo. Hopefully Caicedo comes in. So point 44, my brother, I respect you. And I know we've got the mutual respect for each other. We need to calm down. I don't need excellence. I don't need superstar players everywhere. I do need the Nicholas Jacksons here and there, the Gabri Veigas, because you don't know what it could turn out to be. And this is why we got a manager like Pochettino who's going to be able to maximize their qualities. We need to be a step ahead now. This is why I guess we're stockpiling all these youngsters, but I hope we have a plan for them. Andre Santos, Cesare Casady. There's news about Casady perhaps going to loan to Leicester City. Kani Chukwuemeka. Like, these are talented youngsters, man. We need to show them a plan, and we need to harness their quality. And we have to stay a little bit patient. And by patience, I don't mean, all right, well, let's come 8th, 9th, 10th again. No. We still need to maintain certain standards, but I don't think the approach should be go out there and just buy Osimhen, go out there and just buy this, that, the other in midfield. It's just not going to work that way anymore. T1, thank you so much for the super chat. We keep waiting. These mercenaries who die on the field for their countries but are out for weeks for the smallest inconvenience when it comes to CFC. Yeah, man. Aaron, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Giving RJ 250k was a mistake. Mason probably wanted parity. Factoring availability, Mount probably offered more than RJ over the course of each previous season. Obviously, RJ better player when fit. Look, I mean, subjective. That's your view. No problems, Aaron. But I hold Reece James at a very, very high level, man. He is world class. For me, he's world class when fit. And he probably deserves that 250k per week, in my opinion. Now, of course, it's going to come back to bite us if he's barely, available. I think the coming season that's coming up, if Reece James is predominantly injured again, I think we're going to have a conversation. What do we do with Reece James? Long-term contract, and he keeps getting injured. We will have to have a conversation. Roman Abramovich, thank you so much for the super chat. We get Caicedo, Osimhen, and Mannion. We need to compete. Brother, Osimhen's going to cost a lot of money. And what is the guarantee that he will bang for us? It's a lot of risk, man. In excess of 150 million. I would love an Osimhen. I would absolutely love an Osimhen. But, what you're asking over here, Caicedo, Osimhen, Mannion, I would love a Mannion. Mike Mannion is my number one choice. But AC Milan are asking for 80 million for this guy. There has to be some sort of sensibility, man. There needs to be some sort of sensibility. I'm glad we kind of sort of moved away from Onana and Mike Mannion, because those clubs are asking for ridiculous amount of price. I'm not happy that we're keeping Kepa. I'm not happy that we're sticking around with Kepa, because I don't feel Kepa's the right way to go forward with. But you do need to be somewhat sensible as well. And you have to hope that it works out. I wish Inter Milan came into the party with us. I wish Inter Milan could do us a deal for Andre Onana. They're interested in Lukaku. They're interested in Chalobah. Why can't we do a deal? So we have to look elsewhere. This whole thing about just go out there, keep splashing money after money after money. I think it's time that we get sorry about that. So yeah, we have to get smart about all of this stuff. All right. Hold on. Over there. Just a bit over here. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's just my son is almost coming into the video. But yeah, that's a little bit about Gabri Veiga. Let's see what else you guys are saying, ladies and gentlemen. Roman Abramovich, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. New FPE starts from July 1st. Yes, so we could potentially, we'll probably do a lot more business. We will do a lot more business. Flyers, his name is Ilhan, not Johan. Ilhan. But yeah, we'll definitely do a few more business. I get the feeling we might, obviously we'll probably likely to get Gabri Veiga. And I'm pretty certain we'll might get another striker. Just 1 second, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. It's just my son. Okay. Yeah, moving on to the next news. Al-Nassr will carry out further tests today on Hakim Ziyech after red flags on his medical yesterday regarding both his knee and hip. No final decision has been made yet as to whether they will pull out of the transfer. I feel sorry for Hakim Ziyech, man. I can't believe this has happened. I was excited for him to go to Saudi Pro League, and there's news that there will be another medical lined up for him. And I hope this works out. I'm worried, man. I'm worried that this might collapse. I'm really, really worried that this might collapse. Where is Aaron's super chat? Aaron's super chat. Did I miss someone's super chat? No, I got everyone's super chat. This was Aaron's super chat. I'm pretty sure I got everyone's super chat. Okay. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Hakim Ziyech, man, this guy just can't seem to get a break, man. I hope it works out for him. Yesterday, this news broke late last night, and I thought it was a bit of a fake news, but turns out to be real. Apparently, another set of medical is lined up again, and I hope it happens for him, man. I really do hope it happens for him. Because what happens if this guy doesn't make it? Like, does he then just comes back to Chelsea, and what then? I didn't even know he was injured. I had no idea that he was injured. Look at this guy's audacity. Let's have a look at what you guys saying. Smash the like button, guys. We've got well over 500 people live right now. Let's get those likes up. Shubra's just shared something. I'm just trying to pick that out. All right. Let's get those likes up, guys. If you're here for the first time, subscribe as well. Make sure you subscribe. Chelsea must hope and pray they never see the 5 million in add-ons for Mason Mount. Otherwise, what is currently an embarrassment will have been an unmitigated disaster. Closest comparison I could think of was Ashley Cole. See, this is crazy. See, this is crazy. See, this is when you think, my God, these journalists, I mean, the PR, of course, you'd think they have to be paid. I don't know if you guys have seen John Obi Mikel's podcast. He's been on this podcast twice with these other two people. Do check out. Like, if you type John Obi Mikel podcast, you'll see those search results come up. John Obi Mikel, in his last podcast with these guys, he said players, they do pay money to journalists to do positive PR. Players do that. 1 second. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, John Obi Mikel's podcast does say that players, they pay journalists money. And when you see tweets like this, you have to say, like, this guy, look at what he's saying. Chelsea must hope and pray they never see the 5 million in add-ons for Mason Mount. Otherwise, what is currently an embarrassment? What's an embarrassment? Tell me what's an embarrassment. Honestly, live chat, let me know what has been embarrassing in this whole Mount situation. What was embarrassing? I'm honestly failing to understand this. Am I missing something? Live chat, let me know. Am I actually missing something here? What has been the embarrassment in this entire piece with Mason Mount? Why are we acting like Mason Mount is a player we just can't do without? Like, our football club is now on the brinks of collapsing now that this brother's gone. Sure, the add-ons, 5 million, that means that, Man United will have to win some titles. And then we can trigger that add-on. I understand that. I get that. But what's this whole thing about what is currently an embarrassment will have been an unmitigated disaster? I honestly fail to understand. I really, really do fail to understand what has been a disaster here or an embarrassment here. I don't really understand it, to be honest. Matt Law, for sure, I feel like he's getting paid. For sure, he's getting paid. All right, coming back to the Ziyech situation, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, the second batch of medicals that are lined up for him, that it works out, and then he can move on to Saudi Pro League. I'm just worried if he comes back. Yeah, I don't know if Pochettino really has a particular plan for Hakim Ziyech. I mean, look, me personally, being a sort of a biased fan in regards to Hakim Ziyech, I would love to see him come back to Chelsea Football Club and see if he can, make out that Chelsea career that I expected from him. But I also understand that it's time to go. It's time to go. We don't have too many games to play next season, and Hakim Ziyech is surplus to requirement. I would hate to see him sulk again in the bench. We have to find a solution for Hakim Ziyech. I didn't even know he was injured. I really didn't even know he was injured. All right. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Valencia's Giorgio Mamardashvili is being considered as a young backup keeper to Kepa Arrizabalaga. Maurizio Pochettino's willingness to work with Kepa as his number one means that he's no longer priority. So, yeah, this particular situation concerns me a little bit. The fact that we are looking to make Kepa as the number one next season. We're just going to have to hope that Kepa works out. All the other goalkeepers that we truly want, in the likes of Onana, in the likes of Mike Maignan, they're going to cost a lot of money. So we're pulling out of all of these right now. And, Mamardashvili, I'm not really sure. I've not watched Valencia, this particular goalkeeper. I don't want to just waste stupid money. If it means to give Kepa the number one position for one more season and hope for the best that it works out for us, no problems. But yeah, I don't want to just get any sort of goalkeeper. Like I need a good goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are very, very important factor these days. So, I don't know how much of his distribution is. Mamardashvili, is he good on the ball with his feet? People say that he's a very good shot stopper, but let's not panic in this situation. Let's really not panic. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Acting like we sold Prime Messi. Yeah, man, it's quite mad. It's quite mad. Chelsea Dodgers. I think someone said something about Chelsea Dodgers having a new tweet out. 29 minutes. Chelsea are expected to immediately divert the proceeds of Mason Mount's departure into trying to sign Brighton and Hove Albion's Moises Caicedo. That's fantastic. This will be the next thing that we are going to focus on. So we will keep our eyes peeled out for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap things up. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. We've got well over 570 people live right now. Let's get those likes up to 300 if we can. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. They enjoyed the interaction as well. And I'll see if I can do a few more content during the weekend. Weekend's great time to connect with you guys. Got a bit more time on hand to talk and discuss things with you guys. So, yeah. Give this particular video a like and subscribe. Subscribe if you're here for the first time. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, see ya.